2003 wasn't true, but it is, and that's why every time I get up here, I always gotta say I'm happy to be here. Literally, you know what I'm saying? Like some people, um, every single day, whenever I get an opportunity, I hop up here, I go live. Why? Because people have been supporting the content, the message. You guys are really just changing me and my family's life and helping me be able to do work of motivating, inspiring, encouraging, connecting the dots for formerly incarcerated people and presently, currently incarcerated people. Um, that being said, January back at it, man. On the road, getting ready to prisons, correctional centers, jails, etc. Anybody wants to connect the dots, get in there. We want to bring some programming. We want to bring some cameras. We want to document the journey, and we want to show people what's going on. Get get the men and women's voices from institutions out there, and then also bring in some programmers dealing with trauma, as well as bridging the gap, pushing dialogue in there to really identify society in order for people that are coming home from prison. If you got a loved one that's incarcerated, if you get impacted by incarceration in any way at all, man, you gotta stick around for this because I enjoy doing this, man. If y'all got questions, put them in the chat. I do want to tell y'all, man, Sundays used to be different though. Sundays used to be different. It is Sunday today. Sundays don't like Sundays right now. Full transparency. Had a baby. Um, I work the night shift, 3 a.m. every single day, right? But it's a blessing. But all the days are just like everything, baby, work. Great season though. Christmas time coming, we got the tree up. I'm over. But I remember used to be different. I used to be sitting in prison waiting on a visitation or the phone line. I'm trying to get on the phone or hoping they had outside rec that day, but they probably modified lockdown because shortage of staff. I remember all this, man. Thomas, I see you. What's good? James, I definitely will, man. I remember somebody said let them know about shower security. Hamza, what's good brother? Listen, certain institutions, certain prisons, depending upon what's going on, yeah, you would have to have you ask your mans to hold you down when you go in there. Let them stand on the outside. Definitely got to make sure you got your boots with you to and from. I was telling one of the youngest, I said we wore our boots to the showers and back out the showers. I said, well, what about your shower slides? I said we used to carry those. Some of these prisons they walk around in their slides, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing necessarily. People be able to relax. Honestly, prisons don't have to be messed up, etc. But I've never been able to personally. There was a period in time, I think for almost 2 years, I used to my prison full shirt tucked in, ready to go. Only thing I would have had jump off and fireman because of the what was going on at the time. Sussex 2 was not a place where you could relax, chill, get because they running in people's cells, taking people's stuff. And I didn't think that would be a concern for me. Ended up not being one, but I still wanted to be on point. In prison, it's non-discriminatory. Anything can happen. Like literally. Um, listen. Oh, I know Hamza. I already know, man. Different systems though, right? Different levels, etc. Probably on some level one, sure you're not. I think it's like that everywhere, but a lot of spots it is. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to be caught without them. You'd rather listen. Boots tied tight, man. Understand me? And here's the thing. Speaking of, and I think this was part of the punishment. I think it was by design, man. The state boots that the prisons used to give off, the brown leather ones with the black, like almost like plastic heels or soles or whatever you want to say on them. Those was the most uncomfortable, unforgiving boots ever in the history of the planet Earth. You wear them joints all day, your feet feel like you was walking in two cinder blocks or a car with no shocks on. And we were so adapted to those boots. We used to play basketball in them joints. No wonder my knees and everything messed up now. I got up this morning. getting ready to go work out. My back. I'm thinking about all the time I done jumped up to get around or playing basketball, landed in them boots, no shock on the cement. Different times, man. Man, if you made it out, I'm glad you did. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you made it out, I'm glad we're on this side of things. And if you still in, keep fighting through, man. Fighting through. I don't know if anybody's seen what was going on at Fulton County Jail. They had a fire. Got hurt. Um, Crazy situation, right? But it shows you, without going, it's not necessarily saying this is the basis of the cause, but let me tell you something. Because Hamza said it's not like that anymore. Yo, the jails are just as bad as the prisons, depending on where you're at. Somebody said you should see what River North is going through right now. I'm trying to get information on River North. There's a lot going on up there, and I haven't been able to get anything, directors. I've been getting everything, on social media, like a lot of people making calls. I haven't really talked to anybody's loved ones from directly from the side. I wonder, man. I wonder. I didn't. Bad, man. Somebody asked me, do I think the system's getting better or worse? I tell you what, I think it's getting worse. People say is society getting worse. I think it is, but then people are saying, well, it's probably always been like this. It's just we have social media now, so things are more exposed. Maybe. Alan, it is already out, sir. Thank you for asking, man. 144 Prison Pain and a Pathway to Freedom talks about my story. 16 years, 11 months behind the wall, what led up to it, and a little bit of after. But very real, focusing on the aspects and trauma. A lot of stuff that a lot of men talk about when they come home from confinement. So I was grateful to Johnny. I appreciate you. It's on Amazon. Matter of fact, links bio. At the digital hard copy. So I think it's starting at $9.99. I appreciate everybody that's been supporting too. I dropped the book independently right before my son was born, like a few days. He wasn't supposed to be born until December 18th, a few days from now, but he was 3rd. And I had a decision to make. Am I still gonna release the book and not be able to do the tour? I was gonna knock out some, patients or whatnot, and we still released it and supporting it with book tour, as well, prisons and jails and everything else again. Definitely, Alan. I appreciate that love right there, Alan. Definitely, man. Somebody said I was in the Commonwealth of VA. I was on Haynesville receiving, Sussex 2, Haynesville Correctional, back to Sussex 2, Greensville, St. Bride's, Haynesville Camp 17. All the spots I hit, man. Man, Brian Brister, I'm trying to get inside prisons and jails right now and bring a program, either dealing with the mental health aspect, the trauma that guys face on the inside, and helping them process, or this Bridging the Gap program. And I want to bring some cameras. I got another influencer that's got a way bigger platform that wants to come. So anybody that's connected to jails and prisons that send their positive highlight, and tell the story, man, of the staff and the prisoners. Do some special stuff. Yeah, River North is locked down from what I heard. Yeah. Yours truly, I can relate. When I got locked up, it was the Nextel Chirp. That's all they had. It was the yellow Nextel Chirp. When I came home, it was smartphone. Facebook didn't even exist. When I came home, everybody was on everything. Like every social media platform. I was like, yo, Chaos, glad you came home, man. If y'all got questions, please put them in the chat, man. Appreciate everybody liking the live, sharing. If you know somebody that could benefit from these lives, man, please, I appreciate that. Definitely do. Listen, very real situation heading into 2026, man. I've been asking my brothers and what y'all getting ready to get into as far as goals and successes. To ensure you don't go back to the pen. Lizzie, I appreciate it. And my prayer, my hope is that everybody that's been to the pen is establishing goals going forward so they don't have to go back. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes when you come home, you can be really discouraged. Can be because you might only be getting able to get this type of job, if a job. Might have to stay with people for a little bit. Very discouraging, and sometimes it's so discouraging that our brothers they don't necessarily keep making goals so they can go forward and then back and end up in prison or somewhere worse. You understand what I'm saying? So I want y'all to stay focused and goals going forward. Um, Lizzie said Brian Brister definitely will, man. Man, message me right now, Brian, if you can, just in case. So when I see it, I'm gonna respond right away. I appreciate that, man. Um, Lizzie said I don't have any. It's all good. I appreciate it though. They definitely need to have a program to allow them to learn tech. If they definitely, definitely. One of the things we did, especially with the old timers, was we taught them basically how to text and like slang or whatever for texting and all that because people would get confused. Manuel, am I mixed? I am. I am, man. I got put them in the chat, man. All in here. But yeah, Sundays used to be different, man. Sundays used to be sad too. Well, it depends. I used to go to church on Sundays. Church, just like Juma, or like two of the biggest religious programs in prison. My brother Freddie Wood, he used to be like the preacher guy or whatever. They used to 300 people in there. Big old live music, all that, man. So that was always something I had to look up. But Sundays were quiet because there was no school. Depending on the job that you had, you may or may not work on Sundays. My visits was coming from out of state, so it was really quiet. You know what I'm saying? So Lizzie says Sundays rest. Miss those days. I'm up 3 a.m. every day. I am gonna kind of chill. Yes, I try to be in 8, but back then Sundays for me was just I was always hoping that they do rec call. That was it. Because if I can get outside and run, you know what I'm saying, hit the weights or whatever, especially when we got to like Nottoway Work Center, or no, yeah, Nottoway where they had the weights. But other than that, Sunday slow. I used to like when they had program movement, rec calls, like everything going. Peace, Adam. Appreciate that, teacher. Yo, and shout out to everybody. People, I promise you, that's love. I've been making the meals too. Getting up here, a couple of like I think the tuna brick. I think one of them went over. Appreciate that for sure. Um, yeah. Hey, yours truly. I signed up for all the church services, everything. You understand what I'm saying? What's going on, Spooky? I signed up for every program known to man that you could because typically it was going to be positive. I didn't have to be on the yard where it could just anything could go left, and I was definitely trying to get home. You understand me? And it kept my mind going, even if I didn't necessarily want to go to that program that day. What else was I gonna do? Sit in the cell, be on the rec yard talking about nothing? Like I would go to. Yup, I already know, man. I feel institutionalized. No anymore. Not anymore. I've been home about 6 years now. And since I've been home, I've opened up a school. I've got a successful nonprofit. I travel the country as a motivational speaker. Social media, what I do on social media, that's just what I chose to do with this platform because I was like, I'm a prisoner rights advocate. I fight for people to have second chances, and I want people to understand the conditions of prison. So this is something I'm very passionate about, but it's just a portion of my day. I feel like all the way decompressed from prison. I think the anxiety I have now is just from life, being a new dad, goals, deadlines, stuff like that. Because things are different. I'll tell you that. Things are different, and the expectations are higher. You know what I'm saying? So, somebody say you have a school. Yeah, y'all can look me up, man. Look me up. outside of, you know what I'm saying, just any search engine don't even matter. And somebody said, how was it to use a cell phone for the first time after being free? Yo, the first video, you know what I'm saying, that I think I posted when I was coming up out of prison, my wife put, right, the cell phone in my hand. You know what I'm saying? And she was so happy and excited because she was putting the cell phone in my hand, like, yo, you already got calls, which I did because she had given my number out, you know, to the good brothers and family and whatever, and people was already hitting me up. So the phone to me was overwhelming. And I'm also going to say the first time I got on social media, I didn't really understand it, and I approached it like the majority of people do, the drama, the negativity, all that. I'm not with that. I had to jump off and jump back on. But my phone, no. I didn't have a phone like that when I was locked up. Where I was at, if you got caught with one of those, it was a street charge. So very rarely did somebody have, you know, a phone back then in VA. They don't really have them now. You know what I'm saying? And the closest thing we had to a phone was the JP5, which was like a touchscreen, but it was primitive. That thing weighed like 6 pounds. They used to always break in 2 seconds. Nothing like the phone. But what used to trip me out was just the simple fact that I could get on the internet now and I could look up anything. And for me, when I was on the inside, I used any book that I could get, I used to read. Anytime I could have an intelligent conversation, I used to have it. Every time they had a program I could sign up for, I used to go. Like, that's what I used to crave, because in prison for 17 years, cut off from the world. And if you don't exercise your mind or look past, you know what I'm saying, the then, you'll get stuck. Your world will become that pod or that prison, and that's it. You know what I'm saying? And for me, I was like, nah. So when I came home, what I loved about the phone was I could look up anything. I don't care. I could look up a different country I used to daydream about. I could look up information on a job. I could do this. I could do that. You know what I'm saying? So to have a phone after 17 years in prison was amazing to me. It was hectic, though. You know what I'm saying? Because my phone used to ring 5 billion times. Now it don't ring. But when I first came home, message. But, yo, overwhelming. And I had to get used to this, because prior to me getting locked up, nobody really was walking. Nobody was on their phones on the internet. Now, when I came home, everybody's like this. You know what I'm saying? Nobody wants to call. Everybody wants to text. So I send voice notes to my people. I know they get sick of me when they text, because it's too long for me to text. And I got too many thoughts. You ask me a question, I know those aren't probably appropriate, or something. I think somebody told me, like, it's kind of rude sometimes. I was like, well, friend, you don't count. But anyways, somebody said, bro, hardest thing to get over was fighting with words. They use them like, right? Yeah, man, definitely. Appreciate the food videos. More on the way, man. More on the way for sure. Lizzie said, you're so different because some men came home and everything is about catching up with the party. No, I did not want. Well, you know what? I had a moment. Because I ended up working at this warehouse, and I ended up hanging out with two of the guys, and we would go out on our off days. And almost had a month, but I didn't really like the lifestyle. I didn't like going out. I don't know if I ever did. I think I'm cool with waiting until I can go on a vacation or something, like, or going out during the daytime. I'm not with going out at night and catching up with the party, and then, I wasn't into trying to put on and spend $200 on a shirt so I could look fly, because that's what society tells you need to do. And you know, down in Atlanta, you spending money to go stand in a section and all this crazy stuff. And on top of that, at the time when I came home, I was 36. You know what I'm saying? I'm already too old for that stuff, as far as I'm concerned. Not saying if anybody else lives, that's what's up. I'm talking about me. But my anxiety and all that, I preferred shopping at Goodwill, sitting on my deck. You know what I'm saying? Because I had a backyard, and just having privacy for the first time. In prison, you don't have any privacy. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's always noise. There's always somebody around, unless you're in solitary confinement. When I came home, I used to sit on my deck forever. I used to get off work and the sun would be up and I'd be sitting out there till it got cold at night. And this was summertime. You know how I cool on down or whatever. I used to just sit out there. I'd be on my phone too though. I'd be scrolling, learning, just everywhere, just catching up, just downloading information, trying to figure it out. Different time, man. I came home right when the pandemic started too. Somebody said, did I ever do time in Cali? I did not. But shout out to Believe Detox, man. Those are my people out there. I work with them in the recovery space. I'm out there in Los Angeles, Granada Hills a lot of times. I love the West Coast. I ain't gonna lie. I live on the East Coast. I'm fortunate enough to work on the West Coast and travel out there. Shout out to the West. Food is amazing. Beaches, excuse me. You know what I'm saying? You get out the airport and you bust that right on 405 and you put that radio on and let the windows down and and you going through and anyways. Somebody said, yeah, I definitely wanted to better myself for sure. Somebody said, what's your favorite fast food restaurant that's out now? I try not to eat fast food like that. So like it's a mix though. One's healthy, one's not. So my unhealthy, but I love them. They brought them down here. It's just chicken finger spot, Huey Magoo's or whatever. Yeah, Huey Magoo's, I think it is. Fire. Oh my goodness. But I ain't gonna lie, they got this other spot called Kava, which is like Chipotle, but like I don't even know, Greek or something. I don't know. It's all I know, man. I try not to work out every day. I hit the treadmill for 30 minutes, weights for 30 minutes, sauna real quick. Got one of those saunas off Amazon or whatever it is. Healthy, man. Water. Yeah, somebody Johnny said that's good. A person that enjoying solitude and silence reflects as a wise man. I need my quiet. Sometimes I'm in the car, no music. A lot of times, my wife she needs to have whatever turned up. Me, sometimes I'll be like looking at me like we drive. I got to think. But since you and I turn it on. But if it's me, yeah, I wanted to go up to the Bay Area, man. One day. Ooh, I see you, Chopper Boy. Fallon, Powhatan, Nottoway, Augusta, Coffeewood, Bland, Haynesville. I was at Haynesville and Nottoway out of every place that you. Man, me too. I'm glad we ain't got to go to no court. We ain't got to. I was talking about transfer yesterday to the bullpen. Oh my goodness, Jay, I appreciate it. Very different times and situations. I'm trying to tell y'all, man. Do you understand? Sometimes you got to be. I really do hope that I remind people when they need it. And I hope that other people just find connection and a voice for them when I do my stuff. But sometimes, in full transparency, I can get complaining a little bit out here. I done got a flat tire. Oh, I could forget for 2 seconds that I used to have to stand for count at 5:45 a.m. and stay standing until they cleared it. And sometimes it ain't clear till 6:27. You know what I'm saying? Like this weird stuff, man, that nobody should have to go through. But I put myself in that situation, and I gotta remind myself every now and then. Me personally, maybe y'all not like that, but every now and then, understand me? I need to. So somebody said, "What's my favorite meal in jail and on the outside?" When I was in jail, I used to like the fried oyster ramen packs. Take cottonseed oil out of that, fried it up. A little garlic powder, onion powder, oysters. Um, Favorite food on the outside, tacos. Yeah, I said they drink every day. Drink Keefy every day. You understand me? It's not a day we don't drink Keefy. My husband's been down for 14 years and he's getting out in 7 months. And I told him about you. That's what's up, man. Tell him check out the content. Hopefully he'll definitely feel supported through it all, man. I got support groups and everything, man. Y'all check out the link in the bio, man. Uh, Somebody said they had a grand slam with everything on it. That's not bad though. It's not bad. I had McDonald's when I first came home. My first meal. That was the stop on the way to the house. And it tasted like roof crisp. I ain't gonna lie. Carolina, they didn't feed us oysters. They had oysters on the commissary. That would be crazy if they gave us oysters. And they was like baby oysters. I don't know if they was processed oysters or what. But they were that's what they was. You understand me? They was good too, I ain't gonna lie. Definitely can be a difficult transition, Fallon. Somebody said they was down for 18 years, Zach. I'm glad you made it out, man. Definitely glad you made it out, brother. Oh my God, Nick, thank you for the reminder. Yeah, at McDonald's, I was telling everybody my first panic attack came after me only being home for about an hour at McDonald's. Like my wife, my cousin, my uncle, and my mom picked me up. They were all happy. They all ordered their food. My wife and everybody runs off to go wash their hands, but I still got to order my food and hit the order button or whatever it is, and they leave me at the touch screen. I don't know nothing about the touch screen. And then I look, there's people waiting to go behind me. So now I feel pressured. I start sweating. You know what I'm saying? I've only been out of prison for less than an hour. We're stopping here because I just wanted to get a coffee, and now I want to get a steak bagel, but I don't know how to order it. I don't know how to find it. And then the screen starts blurring the lights because I'm just anxiety up. Now I feel like people are looking at me, and luckily there was somebody that, kind of figured out I needed some assistance, and my wife came back. But yeah, yes, stay with your people. If they've been locked up for 1,000 years, when they first come home, stay with them for a second. Nick, please stay with me for a second. That's what I wish when brothers come home, we pick them up from the pen, we stay with them for a second. We ain't gonna just leave them in Walmart and walk off. Because Walmart, sometimes we get, and I get it. It's normal. Y'all have been living a normal life. So y'all are not to blame. It's us that have normal life. So then when y'all think that we should just easily adapt to something, because no, we're not ready. We ain't been to Walmart in 20 years. We don't know nothing about this. Paul said, well, how is the best way to get a job? That's a good question. Zach, links in the bio. I think it's only like 9. I think it's only like 9 or 6. I think Zach like 6 or 9. Less than 10. Paul, thank you for the support, y'all. That's a great question. How's the best way to get a job? If I'm coming home from penitentiary, I'm a convicted felon. What's the best way for me to get a job? Well, here's some suggestions. Step 1, I'm going to network within my circle. Hopefully somebody somewhere within my family structure, circle, friends, etc. has a connection. I'm going to be very straightforward with them. Hey, I need a job. You work at the warehouse. You work over here. You fix this. I need a job with you. Because if you my people, hopefully you network for me, advocate for me on these spots. That's how I got my first job as a garbage man. My wife, her people, her man worked for the garbage company. Called my wife, hey, your people need a job. Boom, now I'm on a garbage truck. If they get you in somewhere, show up. Matter of fact, any situation you get in, make sure you show up and really step up in that job. But the next thing is, I will go to temp agencies. If they got temp agencies where you're at, go to those. Because temp agency typically, right? Typically, they'll absorb your background and allow you to get into a spot for at least 90 days. Now, when you're in there, you work hard. Hopefully, that employer is going to look past your background when it's time to potentially hire you as full-time. But temp agencies are good ways to stay getting money in. Where I'm at, some of them pay the same day, all that, right? Something is better than nothing, but some of them are pretty good. I know guys that bypass full-time jobs because they'd rather just keep working for these specific temp agencies, taking contracts when they. The other thing is, I'd make sure I know how to get a resume, right? Get my resume up. If I don't, I'll look it up really quick. Too many ways to figure out how to do that. And then I'll jump on things like Indeed, ZipRecruiter, and I would apply for every equal opportunity employer job there is. How do I do that? In the search bar, the jobs, put equal opportunity employer. You know what I'm saying? After you do that, in the next search bar, look up felon friendly jobs. Be as specific as possible. Typically, those jobs will pop up. You know what I'm saying? Apply for everyone. Do not be selective. You're just trying to get your foot in the door, right? Then you could check out honest jobs. That's like Indeed for people with felonies, which is more specific. And you put in your zip code, create a profile, and they don't lead you to just jobs in your zip code. They lead you to resources, etc., organizations that assist people that are coming home from incarceration and more. But those are some places that I would start right there. You know what I'm saying? Those are the places I would start. OTF, I want to come back to your question. You said, I'm aggressive and scary and mean, and no one wants to hire me, and I'm just trying to change. Listen, my biggest issue, and I don't know if y'all see it on the net, there's a video when I walked out of prison, and everybody's happy and celebrating, and I'm not. I'm stern faced like I'm on the yard. And they looking back and or they're celebrating, but I'm looking back and forth. I'm like, yo, we gotta go. We gotta get up off here. Like, I'm super serious. Like, I ain't playing no game. I'm bugged out. And for the next year, 2 years, I wish my wife, she's out there, she gonna start going live with me. But for the next 2 years, I was out my mind. Okay? Tell you we gonna talk, man. I ain't dressing up nothing. But I was so out my mind because in prison you speak a certain way in there. If you speak a different way, you could be looked at as weak. So I was conditioned, I was programmed, because prior to prison, I wasn't running in the streets or none of that. I was just one of them kids that allowed himself to be a follower, young people that allowed themselves to be a follower one night. But if I'm gonna be all the way true, I wasn't really out there like that. But when I went to prison, I got turned into an animal because that's what happened. I was in there for 17 years and I got thrown on a level 4 yard twice, a level 3 once. My whole 20s into my 30s, I'm on a level 4 yard. So if you grow up in that environment, or not grow up, but during those pivotal years of development, your 20s, when most people find out who they are, and you figuring that inside of a place, you know what I'm saying? Like Sussex. I was definitely on Sussex too. I see you. Yo, things are going to happen to you. So first I want to say, OTF, is give yourself some grace, man, because sometimes we be trying to figure it out. Like, why am I like this? And then it makes me more frustrated because I can't figure it out. But now you ain't got to figure it out because I'm giving it to you, man. And I wish somebody would have gave me that part, man. You've been conditioned, bro. I ain't saying that we didn't make the decisions that we did to end up in that place. But what I'm saying is, once we were there, we was inside of a system that conditions people not to heal, but to remain hurt. You understand what I'm saying? So once I understand that, I can give myself a little bit more grace because I can identify the root. But here's the other thing. The reason many of us are running around here angry, agitated, and everything else is because it's unprocessed trauma that we faced. I see you, Saint. What's good, good brother? But it's unprocessed trauma that we've endured when we were children, younger, or in prison, etc., that we carry with us, right? And then here we go. There's this situation. Now I'm triggered. Now everything that I was feeling from that moment when I was 8 or when I was 22 in the pen is coming out at this moment when I'm 35. It ain't got nothing to do with you, but you just reminded me of those moments. So if you want to heal, which you should because you could, you got to really dig deep and start identifying the trauma. That's how you start healing. What gives me peace in the moments is I identify the lesson, most traumatic moments that I faced. You understand what I'm saying? So OTF, you wise, man. And here's the other thing, to anybody that's gone through an extreme amount of damage or any types of issues out there that got you feel like you beat down, your life can't change. Listen, the truth of the matter is you just got to get up. You just got to get up. You got to give yourself grace. You got to know that life tried to beat you down, but you also got to know that once you get up, you start utilizing everything that was sent to destroy you, and you realize just how strong you really are. But because in hindsight, you undefeated against everything that was ever sent to take you out. This may be a rough season or whatever, but now I just gave you something to focus on. So then I want you to get connected to support groups, etc. Message me, man. I got one every Saturday. That's real easy. Message me, or you go link in bio. My brother Saint up here. Make sure y'all check him out. You know what I'm saying? He part of the life. Listen, get connected to community people that's out their minds too. I'm out my mind. That's why I'm able to connect with everybody that's out their mind too. What a coinky. I just do the work every day. Not easy every day. You understand what I'm saying? But you got to work on you, and then the rest of the opportunities, like the jobs and anything else that comes your way, those opportunities will open up to you, because not only will they open up to you because people be more receptive to you, but you'll be more able to operate in them and magnify your abilities in them, because you're not carrying away that weight. You're not carrying it around with you the way that you were. But you got to do that work, man. Very welcome, man. Somebody said, how can you overcome anxiety? It's the same thing, very similar. That's a great question, Julian, but you got to process your trauma, man. Like, most of us, now some of us, we grew up in the suburbs and we say, you know what, I feel like going out into the hood today. Some of us did make that decision, but even then, there was an entry point of trauma that kept us there. There was something that pushed us that way. And then some of us just grew up in that environment where grew up in a war zone. What I know, this is every day. This is life. I don't know anything outside of that. But the anxiety is attached to trauma. It's always going to go back to that. What happens the most of the time is, unfortunately, we rather try to numb ourselves. I used to do it all the time. But we used to try to numb ourselves because we don't want to feel the anxiety or what we have to process through. And I get it, because there's levels of it. And I'll never tell anybody how to. But for me, it was therapy, support groups, prayer, making sure I had the right people around me, people that weren't going to elevate, you know what I'm saying, my anxiety. I had to get into other rooms. I had to step out there and advocate for myself. I had to get connected to people. And I see what you said, Julian. And hopefully, you know, that day it's not even close to being a reality. And what I mean by that, I don't think nothing like that's going to happen again, but hopefully you're far removed from that. And it's just a memory that's evoking an emotional response, but that's extremely traumatic. That is there's some things I'll never forget as well. It is. But what gives me peace in those things, again, is identifying the message, the lesson. You understand what I'm saying? That's going to free me going forward. That'll keep me from being in that same situation again. Blue said, can you get a pardon after you get probation? Yes. To the best of my ability. I do want to be clear. I am not a legal professional, but I know plenty of people that have filed and successfully gained a pardon after probation. They were off probation for a certain amount of time before they could apply. I don't know if the time variance between Fed, state, etc., but no, I know for a fact you can. Question though. Sure, for sure. Very welcome. Nikki said, what advice would you give me as a spouse? My husband is about to come home after 17 years. Nikki, I did 16 years, 11 months in prison. My wife married me in the Haynesville Camp 17 visitation room. They almost didn't let her in that day because of her wedding dress. And we're happily married. What, I don't know, 6 years later, you know, just had our first child November 3rd. Both of our first child in life and as a married. So I think I'm pretty qualified to answer this. What advice would I give you? I would tell get mental health support around them ASAP. ASAP. You understand what I'm saying? Like ASAP. Support groups. Nathaniel, I see you. Mental health support is key. Getting him connected to peers that understand what he's going through. Understanding, and I'm not saying this is you, but keep him out of environments that could get him in trouble. Do not give him the alley-oop. Say, hey, let's go to the club and celebrate. he don't need to be in these places. If he's that way, and I'm not saying he is, just challenge him to be in more positive spaces. Introduce him to introduce him to community. You know what I'm saying? Go to a 5K. Have him experience new things, wholesome things, things that'll fill his heart. Take him to go on a hike. Y'all go on a walk. You know what I'm saying? Teach him to keep his phone in his pocket and don't be every 3 seconds. Slow him down when you can, but get him if you can get him therapy. Hey, babe, I'm not saying nothing is wrong with you, but just like we go to a doctor, right? That's what I would tell him. Just like we go to a doctor for a physical. Shoot, matter of fact, I go to a therapist too. And if you want to make so you could be telling the truth, make you an appointment before him. You go before him now. Hey, look, I do it here. When he goes, hopefully he'll be encouraged to want to go again, and encourage him when he talks about his experience with therapy or support. And oh man, that's amazing. I'm so glad you had that understand that breakthrough, or whatever, because that'll be more inclined for him, and he'll be more motivated to go back. One of the biggest mistakes I see is that the spouse or the significant other tries to be the therapy support, the shoulder, the ear, the can't. Unfortunately, because as much as sometimes, and again, I say this isn't you, sometimes loved ones feel like they experience with us. You did. You stayed connected to us. You answered the phones. You heard the GTL. You went to visit. You got shook down. You went through some very real things when it comes to prison, but we never got to leave that place and space. The things that we seen not in the visit, but in those pods or in the stairwells or on the rec yard are a little bit different than what y'all experienced. That's okay. We don't want y'all to go through that. But that being said, there's going to be some things he can't talk to you about. He can't. There's going to be some things he needs to open up about. And of course, y'all can connect to me, man, Lincoln. I do great work, man. We got support groups. We got all types of stuff. Really passionate about it too, man. Julian said one of your videos helped me realize that the people I was around wasn't very good people. And Julian, I'm glad it worked, man. I'm glad it motivated. Beyond Biz, what's going on, good brother? Appreciate that, Blue. Yeah, the nightmare. You know what? Somebody asked me a couple lives back. They said, "Do you still have nightmares, or do you have nightmares from prison?" What I'll tell you is, I've probably only had one in the last year, right? But the first year, pretty prevalent. I'd wake up, I think it was count time, cold sweats. I might feel like I'm still in a cell. There were some things going on with me, and things that I seen. I lost people that I had genuine love for, man. People I called brothers behind those walls before they were able to make it home. You understand what I'm saying? And certain things stuck with me and haunted me, and they replay at times in the form of a nightmare. But like I say, I work on self-care. I really do, man. Part of my self-care regimen is exercising. I used to journal, but honestly, journaling to me is making a post now. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm really processing a lot of the trauma, the things I've experienced, or talking about what's on my mind so I can I don't really sit there and plan and plot things out. If that's on my mind, I believe that'll be the most purest message. I hope it gets through, because if it's in the mind in the moment, then it's in the heart as well. You know what I'm saying? But certain things, certain nightmares, yeah. But over time, the more I took hold of my freedom, the more I embraced, again, life, and let go of the darkness that prison is, the nightmares became less. I also got therapy. I also go to support groups. I also got a mentor. I also got people around me that care about their own life like mine. So it was a bunch of different things that I had to do. You know what I'm saying? And over time, staying in positive environments, I believe it purged some of those negative things that was in my mind, or had me thinking about, those nightmares, or having those nightmares, if that makes sense, y'all. Got it, man. And it's one step at a time. Yeah, the heavy doors. Man, the sound of the doors, the feelings of the cuffs, those COs that are itching to call your bluff. You understand what I'm saying? My man used to make poems all the time. Poems. about real life or real time scenarios and situations in the pen. It was a crazy. He was the most talented dude I probably ever met with that spoken word type stuff. And he used to do it to keep the morale up with me and the brothers in there. We'd be working out or whatever, or it'd be a messed up day, or they done cancel rec. Might be he know dudes not feeling the day, and he'll just breaking down the whole scenario. And the next thing you know, everybody caught up in his wordplay, and then he done shifted. Energy done shifted, man. But prison, and the sound of the doors and everything else. Somebody said they got locked or they get locked up next week. Any tips, man? If you can, stay out the politics, stay out the drama. Don't repeat things that you've seen because you didn't see them. Don't go into debt. Don't borrow. Learn to go without. Don't gamble if you're bored. Read books. Join programs. Get a job. Work out. Learn a second language or read as many self-help books as you can, because no matter what, this is a unique experience, and the silver lining is, yeah, it's really messed up, but this is an opportunity where you can really develop yourself, focus on yourself, and make sure when you get up out of there that you don't go back. I know. I just interviewed a dude. He never bought a TV. 22 years, all books. He used to get sent to the hole for the amount of books he had in his cell. Now, when he's home, very successful. Very guy. Now he's wrote 4 or 5 books. Travels the country as a speaker like me. He doesn't. It reflects. So when you go in, what happens in prison, just so we're clear, is what I'm getting to. Some people go into prison and they play spades all day. Some people go to prison, they play spades all day. Some people go to prison, they lift weights all day. That's it. And lifting weights is cool. You physically, you'll probably get in shape. But some of those same people, some of the people that's on the spades table, never ever work on their mind. You go to prison, you need to work on your mind. Why? Because evidently you weren't clicking on all cylinders 9 times out of 10 mentally for you to end up in a spot like that. And I'm talking about me. So I suggest, though, you work on your mental. You work on your physical too. There's something I believe in. You work on yourself every day in these 4 areas. You work on yourself physically, right? I do that in an hour workout every single day, no matter what. You work on yourself mentally. For me, I try to read something every day, whether it's short, something, maybe it's a couple chapters. Maybe I pull up a video and learn something, whatever it is. Maybe a motivation of it, whatever it is. Spiritually, I'm not here to tell anybody what to believe in. I'm just saying, for me, I pray, I read the word, I do something. And then the 4th area of development for me is financially. And that could be just save $1 today, or invest $1 in the place that it needs to go, whatever it is. But those are the 4 areas I develop in, man. Develop in those areas while you on the inside too, and you'll be okay. I'm telling you, utilize the time, man. Listen, I appreciate y'all, man. Y'all already know it's peace and love. I had to hop up here and go live with y'all. I appreciate it, Stephanie. Really, really do. Somebody said that you got to side with a group or roll alone. It depends on the system. In VA, you didn't have to. Some states you got to. You know what I'm saying? I can't really speak on it. I really appreciate that, Stephanie. Definitely do. But listen, man, it's peace, love. When y'all see this go light up, y'all know I'm live, man. Make sure y'all check in with me one time, man. Ask a question or two. Get some support if you need. Just know it's positive energy. As always, I gotta say this. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate y'all for your time. Michael Camero, what's good? I appreciate y'all, because time is something we can't get back. That's something I learned from the pen, man. So please enjoy the rest of your day. Set some goals for 2026. You know